Get a little recap here on Sam Rayburn. Just made it back to the house after almost 17-hour drive. Had a really good tournament. Had an awesome week. Wound up fishing Saturday in the top 12. Went in the top 12 in 9th. Fell a little bit to 12th. But that's kind of the game you play. We're kind of swinging for the fences, hoping I could get a big bite. Caught all my fish this week. Flipping a Zoom Magnum finesse worm and red bug. A lot of guys were throwing worms. Felt like the smaller one gave me a little edge on those guys. Threw it on a Arc Invoker, 7.5 foot heavy action rod, and I actually upgraded to 25-pound test Seaguar flipping braid. The brush piles were anywhere from 15 to 20 feet of water, and some of them you could actually see the tips sticking out of the water. So I felt very confident in the heavier line that I could. The water was a little off color. I felt confident I could get them out of the brush pile when I got them on. Talked with a friend, fellow competitor, Monday, midday, ran into him in practice, was having a bit of a rough go of it, couldn't really get any size, keyed me in on the brush pile bite, and told me what he was doing, and actually he was doing something completely different in brush piles than I wound up doing. And I had already found a lot of brush piles with my Humminbird side imaging. Went through the area and revisited a couple of them, wound up catching my link partner Brady, caught a good fish on that worm. Kind of keyed us in on it. Spent a couple days just graphing brush piles. Added over 450 waypoints to my graph. Of those, probably 200 were brush piles. It seemed that the newer brush piles that were tall, they were probably anywhere from 12 to 15 feet tall. They're actually willow tops that the crappie fishermen sink. Those seem to be the ones on the points. Seem to be the ones holding the active fish and the better fish. Was in the canyons area where a lot of the top 12 guys actually caught their fish. The biggest key this week was definitely the Garmin Panoptics, or the Garmin Live Scope. I just put it on my boat about 3 weeks ago before I went down there. You could line yourself up on the brush pile and make sure your first cast was your best cast. You could literally watch the bait drop right down through the top of the brush pile. In the mornings, the fish were sitting way up on top and they were pretty aggressive and they would get it right away, or when you yo-yoed it up over the top, as the sun got up and the pressure got to them, they seemed to be buried more down at the bottom, and some of the other brush piles that were a little bit shorter, the older ones that are only 3 or 4 foot tall. Ran probably 40 to 50 brush piles a day, each day adding 10 new ones in, based on what I could get to. A lot of people were running brush piles. I did have some off the beaten path. Actually, I found a group of about 40 of them Wednesday, right before we had to get off the water, and that helped me on the second day catch my limit and then call twice to get to my almost 15 pounds. The other bait I caught them on, I caught 2 on the first day on a Rapala DT14 on a hard spot on an old roadbed. I threw a speed worm several times, never got them to touch it, picked up this DT14. Actually throwing it in 8 feet of water, grinding on the bottom over that hard spot, and I caught 2 of them. Helped finish out my limit. I kind of laid up after that, thinking I had enough to going into the first day to potentially do well, so I tried to get my coingler fish in the grass. Had a couple opportunities we weren't able to capitalize on, but had a really, really good tournament. Very impressive body of water. Put a lot of effort in, a lot of time in, and we spent dark to dark every day. Put my Falcon boat through a lot. I did hit a couple stumps, a couple trees with my brand new lower unit, thanks to Joe and the boys up the Rock River Marina that helped me out the week before. I hit a log on the Mississippi River, took my lower unit out. They got me taken care of and on the water and running good. Making probably about a 25-mile run to the other end of the lake towards the canyons from takeoff. Some days it was a little rough in the morning and they added boat traffic on there, but the Falcon handled it very well and was very happy with the boat. Currently it's a wet disaster. Right when I got done, before we were going to put the cover on, the rain started pouring. And yeah, now I got to get to cleaning and get to organizing and start doing my homework for the next one. I actually jumped up 75 places in points. So I'm actually 35th with 2 left. So I have a legitimate shot if I can get my game together to possibly make the leads for next year. So we're definitely going to give it our all, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.